Okay, good morning.
They're on television.
Good morning. Welcome to the May 17th, 2023 meeting of the COA Board of Directors. May I have a call to order, please?
I motion we call to order.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'd like to read the mission statement. Now I've got to find it. I just had it here. Of the Council on Aging. If I can find it, I thought it was right here on the front page, but it's not. Does anyone have it? I don't know exactly where it is now. I feel like a fool. It's usually on the front page. That's why I took this.
Somewhere.
Maybe we did not put it in here. Okay, I can find it. Because that is something we've been doing. The mission of the Council on Aging is to advocate for Groveland's older adults, to identify their needs, to develop and implement services to meet their health, economic, social, and cultural needs, to encourage maximum independence, and to improve their quality of life. Thank you for waiting for me to find it. Okay. First order of business is to approve the minutes of the meetings. Thank you, Irene and Barbara, for sending them. Let's do the approval of the minutes from April 19th, where they occurred first.
I'm going to make one amendment under old business when I entered the new pantry hours. Just for clarity, I'm going to add Wednesday and these hours, because right now I think it could be misinterpreted. So I will make that clarification.
So, okay, so do I have a motion to accept the minutes of the April 19th meeting with the amendment of adding Wednesday's pantry hours?
I accept.
Linda, second? I'll se, oh, okay, Barbara?
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And Irene, I'm going to send them right away to Beth as soon as we finish the others. They're all ready to go by email, so you don't have to send it over. Oh, I will, because you want to change the wording. Okay, never mind. Okay, do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the May 12th meeting, which was the one we had last week with the Friends? I have a motion? Linda, second? Barbara? Thank you, Barbara, for taking the minutes. All in favor?
I'm sorry.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I'm going to, because, Maureen has asked to be here, I'm going to switch around the agenda. The treasurer is not here, but I did, get the expenditure reports. But let's have Maureen not have to wait forever with Elizabeth. So Maureen, take it away. Thank you for sending your report too, by the way.
Oh, thank you all. Now, I figured since Nisha wasn't here and we don't have a director, I wanted to be able to share directly with you the, just some information about the food pantry and some of the outreach work that I'm doing in between van driving and all that good stuff, so.
And I should introduce you as Maureen Lealock,
yes.
for those
I have a lot
watching
of
at home,
titles.
who is the outreach worker,
And the interim
interim.
outreach and the backup van
And the
driver.
backup van driver.
Yes, exactly. I have several hats that I wear. But I wanted to just update you, many of you work in the pantry, so you've gotten firsthand experience, but I've tried to make an effort to really keep some data so that we can quantify and see where our efforts are going, and just to make sure we stay efficient and not getting too distracted. Sometimes something physically tangible like the pantry can make it trickier than some of the other intangible needs of the seniors. So, but I do hear from a lot of people that they're very appreciative of the pantry because their SNAP benefits have been reduced. The price of everything has gone up and they just can't make ends meet. So there's some pretty heartbreaking stories that we often don't think about in our own community. But, so I provided Laurel and Nisha with information about our neighbor's table, which is our food source, they do everything in weights. So this month, April was a little bit less than March, but we did have a large family that is no longer in town, that they were frequenting the food bank previous months, so I was trying to figure out why that went down. We put together 58 orders in April. The previous month, again, we had that other family, so it was a larger number of orders, but this past month in April, we gained 2 new families or individuals who are using our resources. So we put together 58 orders for 24 different people. So just to give you a sense, obviously, some people are weekly, some people are bi-weekly. We have a couple people who will pop in twice a week, so it just depends on that. And one other little bit of data that I gave you, and Laurel can share it with you, is that there's 10 people who come in 3 or more times a month. So of the 24 that we served last month, 10 people come in quite regularly, probably at least once a week. And then there's 14 people that come in once or twice a month. So there's differences. Some people pop in to supplement what they have from home, and for other people, this is a main source of their, kind of the bulk of their groceries, and then they fill in with whatever other benefits they have. So I have to say I wanted to thank all the volunteers, because as we can see, Wednesday, Thursdays, and Fridays, when I wasn't available, when I came in as the interim, the volunteers, you've all, like, I feel like we're partners, like we're co-workers, that it's really, I think we've worked out the kinks, we figured out what works and what doesn't work, and I appreciate everybody's support, so that it's been a very eye-awakening and touching opportunity to work with people, to hear. I think it's a wonderful connection with the outreach, because now I know when people are having medical problems. I know when people are having a loss of a spouse, a loss of a pet, those things that are life-altering for people. This provides me with those opportunities to talk with people, to talk to them about holidays and those types of things. So it's been a very interesting opportunity to do both. In terms of outreach, in between driving the van, I try to do as much outreach as I can too. And there's certainly a lot of need there, because people are trying to figure out, are they eligible for SNAP benefits? And having walked through this process with some of my family, it's not an easy thing to navigate as a senior. Most everything is on a portal. Most people don't even know what a portal is if you're a senior. So I've been able to help some people with their SNAP benefits, or even applying to be a member and to use our food resources. I walk them through, I complete the application for them. There's a lot of interest in, we're trying to get some SHINE coordinators to help folks with figuring out, and this is not my area of expertise, Medicare, Medicaid, Mass Health, so I've been working to try to connect them. Sean had started that, and then that kind of, we didn't continue, so I'm trying to identify that, because there's a lot of people who are just trying to figure out what's the best choice for them at this point as their life circumstances change. So there's a lot to kind of bits and pieces, and I'm eager to see as we go forward and get fully staffed, because I can see where this could really, become a bigger thing as it was previously. And, I'm trying to do what I can do, but yeah. So anyways, I just wanted to share that with you.
Maureen, do you have a local contact SHINE person?
There's a regional woman.
A regional.
I guess every town does it a bit differently. Some towns, it's the director is the SHINE person. There's a very extensive training. Like a
Lynn
good,
used to be.
yeah,
Yes.
8 or 10 weeks of a half-day training,
Yeah.
a test, an annual certification. So there's a lot to go into becoming a SHINE, and yeah, Lynn used to be that person. There seems to be a shortage of extra SHINE people, but there's, a regional contact through age span. So I've been in communication with her, and she's trying to find some folks that can help service Groveland until we, hopefully we'll at some point grow our own SHINE coordinator. So, yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot to it. Like I've seen the agenda of what the trainings would entail. It's Medicare A, B, C, D, Mass Health, all these things, and a lot of it changes every year or every couple years. So it's pretty extensive, so I'm hoping to at least make sure I can connect people, not with our own local, well, not with our own agency,
Right, 'cause we
Council
don't
on
have
Council on Aging agency, but with somebody through Age Band, or some of the other towns have a Shine person that they're willing to help other towns. So, most of the Council on Agings are very helpful. You know, I reach out to them, like especially with Nisha not here this week, I was like, well, now who? So, you know, I've called Amesbury or Merrimack or Newburyport, and they're very helpful just to refer, or H-Band is pretty, there's a lot of layers to H-Band, so, yeah, so that's it. I just thought I wanted to, you know, pop in and, I do a week, just so you know, all the food pantry information, I enter that into, a database that Our Neighbor's Table has me collect the information, and for those of you who work in the pantry, you'll see I updated the form a little bit because they actually want to know the difference between do we deliver or is it something that someone walks into, which makes perfect sense. Our Neighbor's Table is actually going back to allowing people to come into their marketplace. So since COVID, they were doing drive-up only, where people would order in advance and it would be put in their cars. Now they're going back to kind of a hybrid. You can either go in, or you could pick up your delivery. So that's starting on May 18th, so tomorrow. So that's, you know, kind of a move where some people like that option to be able to see their groceries, like here. Some of our folks like to come in and just look around. Others are perfectly happy, just, they're homebound, they're sick, they're immune suppressed, they, you know, for whatever medical reason, they can't come in. So that's the update from ONT, but I do submit a monthly report to them as well.
Now, I forgot my question. Oh, so does the van drive people? I know in the past, when it was open for that, will the van drive them to Our Neighbor's
Well,
Table?
yeah, Nisha has, you know, instructed
What's the
me
start?
that we can now take people over to Our Neighbor's Table, that we're not going to charge the regular out-of-town fee, which would be $15. That instead we would suggest a donation if they're able to. So we'll see. We will need to start putting that information out there.
Right, once it starts.
Yeah, that's actually a good question, because I'm like, we pretty much have the same food they have, so I'm not really sure why.
Well, they have a lot, they have a
We do
lot
have
more.
a lot of food, yeah.
Yeah.
They have a lot more.
Like
Well,
more
yeah,
selection, maybe, yeah.
I don't know. I'm going to go over and see, because I actually go over there myself with a family member, so, but it was always the drive-up. So I'll be
Yeah.
curious to see. I've seen the layout and the setup, and that's part of what they're transitioning. They had to redo their space a bit to adjust for traffic flow of people walking around rather than volunteers who put orders together. So, yeah, I'll be checking that out this week, and we'll see what that looks like. But, yeah, that's, and then the van, just the update on the van, I don't know, did Larry share with you?
Yes.
Okay.
And I
Okay, is that on the
wasn't sure.
agenda?
It's on the agenda, but
Okay, I
if you
won't-
would like, no, go for
Okay.
it,
I was
because
at
you
the
know
Chevy
more.
dealer, yeah,
You
well-
you know more than I do. I don't know since Friday, the phone call
Oh.
came in that the van can't be
Okay,
fixed.
yep, so Monday I went over with Larry to pick up the van. My understanding is, the good news was there was actually a recall on the problem that we've been having with the heating and ventilation and air conditioning system. So Chevy had a recall. We're like, all right, we were cutting edge. We knew there was something wrong. The problem is when the van was modified for handicapped accessibility, take a guess.
Yeah.
It voided the warranty.
Of course it
And they
did.
can't get at the part because there's some, the man was talking more to Larry than me, but there's some piece that is in the way of what they need to get to, so they can't touch that. So Larry said he was going to report it back to Rebecca because it's, now it's not a straight warranty fix, that it's going to need something else, so there we are.
But the van is here.
The van is here, and it's
But anyway,
functioning.
yeah.
It's a little, yesterday was
what's
a
that
good day to
hopeful?
test it. It was a little toasty, but, I'm like, open the windows, a little fresh air, don't mind the pollen.
Yeah.
So hopefully, we'll see how long it takes to get that resolved, but that's the update on that, never a dull moment.
Could I ask one more follow-up question on the possibility of people taking the van to ONT? Would that be a regularly scheduled trip like it used to be? 'Cause
Well, in the past, we didn't unless somebody scheduled us to drive there,
No,
I
they-
had never driven it.
But
we would
before
go
that it
over and
was.
pick up their
Yeah,
orders.
but
Okay.
before COVID.
Oh, okay.
They used to have a regularly scheduled trip on Wednesday, like Wednesday mornings
like
was
our
the
close-
plaza,
Okay,
and then
right.
Wednesday afternoons was our neighbor's table.
I see, okay.
So they do a separate trip then, so that's what I'm wondering, would it be a regularly scheduled trip, or would it,
You know more than I do, so
Okay.
that would be a good thing. Misha just said we would start scheduling it, but it does seem like it would be more efficient to cluster people.
and is our neighbor's table now open on Thursdays, right?
Yes, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I think.
Okay, because they used to, yeah, because it used to be Wednesdays.
Right.
Yeah.
So then it would need to be like on Thursdays, but that might be a,
That might not be a bad thing, because
Yeah.
Wednesdays tend to be busy days,
Right.
so it might be nice to spread it out. Thursdays tend to be quieter in
Right.
terms of requested rides.
so maybe that could be the,
Except when there's traveling chef.
Correct. Now, I've never done traveling chef because I'm not here Thursday. What time does that arrive? Noonish?
Around noon.
Yeah, so
So
I
you
guess
could
if you
probably-
did a Thursday morning
they do a
to
Thursday morning
ONT.
run.
So tomorrow is a traveling
Tomorrow is
chef
a
day,
yeah.
so do we know how that's going to work?
Yep, Frank is, he's on
Frank is
that.
on
Yep,
it.
yep.
And I have one more follow-up question, so I know there has been communication between you and the volunteer drivers, the Wednesday afternoon volunteer drivers. How is that flowing?
I think we've got it figured out.
Got it figured out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nisha also helped me to understand, now that I've been here since, I guess, January, which is one of the reasons I changed the form a little, because she needs information for her grant in a certain manner that I didn't know about. So I had to do a little backtracking to get that and to collect volunteer names. I didn't know it mattered who, I mean, I don't think it matters who, it's just I need to know which volunteers deliver it to who. So yeah, I mean, Deb could speak to it. It's taken me a little bit just because sometimes I would do it later on Tuesday nights, just because I run out of time during the day. It's if last week I did the mystery ride on Monday. So I was Rockport, Gloucester all day. Tuesday morning I come in, I have to order for ONT on Tuesday. Their portal isn't even open on Monday, so I had to order and then make the phone calls to the homebound folks, and then I usually try to pack up the order. So sometimes it gets a little rushed, never mind the phone calls. I'm not complaining, just saying sometimes after the fact at night I get to send things off. But yeah, we think we worked it all out, and everybody's been very supportive and gracious, and
Okay, great.
it's wonderful. I feel like I just love being part of, like, a group effort. We worked it out, because we started with nothing. We had to figure out, just the
The logistics of it.
logistics and what
and
makes
things
sense.
have changed,
Yeah, timing and all that.
so.
So, yeah, that's it.
And I think, it's hard because you're doing the two jobs only for 2 days a week. So, now that, hopefully, we have,
Yeah.
a full-time and still looking for an outreach worker and a part-time, a
Part-time.
part-time van driver for 2 days a week and a substitute van driver. Those positions are there, so, and you're taking them all.
Well, it is kind of funny, without Nisha here this week, I'm like,
Yeah.
I was like, well, it's just me.
And Frank.
I know, yeah, exactly. But him and I, we don't see each other usually,
Right,
so that was
right.
funny. But yeah, I called him yesterday just about scheduling something for tomorrow. But yeah, no, I think it'll be nice to, now that, the budget is in place and questions have been answered about all that, so time to move forward. But yeah, that's all. I just wanted to come in and
Well,
update
I'm
you in
glad you
case you had
did.
questions or.
Well, we certainly thank you for
Thank
what
you.
you're doing as an
Yes.
interim.
No, I love it. I do. I
worker.
feel like it's like a gift, to just touch base and
Helping.
just help people, right? They're so appreciative. I cannot tell you how many times they say thank you, and they all say, I appreciate what you do, and they really, really, so it is.
And I
always say it's a
heard
labor.
remarkable feedback about your trip to Gloucester
Oh,
and
yes,
Rockport,
well.
and you took them on a seacoast ride. and-
Yes, there was a little off-train vehicling.
But that's nice because, people don't get to do that.
Yeah, no, I didn't know that's where we were going, but actually, I was
Did you make a
married in
wrong turn?
Rockport. No, but I was married in Rockport, and worked in Gloucester and Rockport, so I knew that area super well. So it was fun to show them all kind of my behind-the-scenes
Yeah.
knowledge. So we did, it was a beautiful day, too. We sat out in front of the Gloucester Fisherman statue.
Oh,
Like,
that's
what-
beautiful.
Like, who isn't going to enjoy that?
Exactly.
The
Right,
breeze
yeah.
and some
Yeah.
sunshine, and,
Yeah.
yeah, we had a lovely group of people, and it was fun. So, all right,
Well,
ladies.
thank you.
Well, thank you, and
you, Maureen.
hopefully Larry has a wonderful trip with his daughter.
No,
That
so
was-
exciting.
Yeah, that was really exciting. All right, I will take my,
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
my charge with me.
Oh, I thought maybe Elizabeth was staying.
She's so good.
You have to book quite early for
All right.
her.
Well, thank you in advance,
Yes,
Elizabeth.
thank you.
Yes, exactly. She
And
said-
thank you, Maureen.
You're a good
for all you
baby.
Yes,
do,
thank you.
Your report.
Bye. Bye. She's happy.
Bye.
Bye-bye to everybody.
What a good girl.
Say someday she'll be mayor of Groveland at the rate we're going here.
Oh, I know, everyone's going to know her.
She's here enough, right?
All her meetings.
She comes to election sometimes
Yeah.
too, and all that good stuff, so.
Can I
All
get a
right,
door
bye,
for you?
ladies.
Bye,
Bye,
Maureen.
Maureen. Bye, Elizabeth.
Okay.
All right, thank you, ladies.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so as we know, the copier has run out of paper. So I was able to get the ledger history all printed up in front of you, which I know, this is like the treasurer's report, and I only was able to get, I think, 2 copies of the ledger history variance expenditure ledger, which pretty much narrows this whole thing down. So if you could share that piece. This one is the one that you'd have to share, and I think that one came out larger.
This one, okay.
Yeah, and you can look at this. So if you want
This one.
to share this first, and then we'll look through this is the specifics. The one that's 9 pages long has every little
See,
thing
Okay.
on it, and this breaks it
it's just
down.
the summary.
That's a broken down, okay.
Yeah.
It's just the summary.
Which is really, something that, this was probably the more important paper to give out. Did you,
Is there another one down there?
No, we can pass it over to you, though. 'cause
Oh.
it's-
there should be 3.
Oh,
One came out larger.
Oh, well,
Oh,
that's
the one
okay.
that you have, that's larger, isn't it?
that's loud, sure, but.
Yes.
There's only 2 of those, correct?
Or one of these, I don't,
Yeah, so here, you can look at that.
yeah, yeah.
In case you have to write anything down.
Just share with your neighbor. I'm sorry. I didn't know where to get the paper, and
It's locked in a closet.
With everything,
Locked in
I
the
don't see any
closet.
negatives.
I know,
should have
almost.
done that one
Except for
first. and then-
vehicle maintenance.
Which, yeah.
It's all right.
So, yeah, we have to talk about that, but, so if you look at percentage-wise on the one page that we have to share,
Yeah.
we're pretty much on track, because we only have
Even
the
with the
rest.
van?
For the expenses, we have had, yeah, we've had money transferred into that.
I'm having a hard time understanding you, Laurel. I don't know if it's the.
It's
I just-
echoey,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
I'm
can't.
sorry.
I'm sorry, I just can't
Maybe I'll talk back here, I don't.
comprehend what you're
That's better.
saying.
So we had money, what did he say?
We'll see.
Is that better? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Now can you hear me too? Yeah, we were very echoey. I was having a hard time understanding
Yeah.
everybody. So you can hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
Hear me now?
We did have that money transferred into the van expense. So we have 62, before, we had very little money left in it. We had some money transferred. They had asked if we could transfer, if we needed to transfer any money from one line account to another, and we did have that done.
Okay.
That, yeah.
That
so-
answers a question for me, because I knew Barbara was going to follow up and check on that.
I did. I went in and talked with Rebecca about those 2 things, because for one thing, the Nisha's salary that was going to be paid from the formula grant was switched to the director's line, and we hadn't seen that, but it was because the last report ended the payroll before that, so it was going, Nisha's timesheet has been changed, so that now they're using the salary line for the administrator's salary instead of the formula grant, so it's being paid out of that to keep the money in the formula grant, for next year.
Oh, good.
And then the other piece, as far as line item transfers go, I believe that those are still the same figures from last time, the variances, But the way that Rebecca explained it to me, rather than go through the entire budget, I hope I'm explaining this correctly, instead of going through line by line and doing transfers, they allow accounts to be shown in the red, and then at the end of the year, it's like a mass transfer to make them all gel and then see what the bottom line is. The reason for that being, it does show that if an account is in the red, then it will show that, okay, obviously, we needed more money in this, or there was too much money in this account for that reason, like the snow and ice this year. Even though we didn't have that many storms, the cost of the sand and salt went up so much that that account was in the red, and they wanted to show that because, to explain why. So we may not see the exact dollar, transfers, but it will, by the end of the year, it will all gel out.
Because we did
Thank you.
meet with them and say, yes, we want that,
Yeah.
that change.
Well, and another financial question I have is, are we all set with Nisha, part of Nisha's salary coming from the DOT grant at this time?
Right now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's working well?
She and I have been working on the grant, the DOT grant. We've had a lot of Zoom sessions and phone calls with the people at the DOT. They're super, super helpful. So yes, we don't actually have that money yet. They had a lot of turnover in there, so we don't have the funds yet. But one runs on a calendar year, the town, and then the grant runs on a fiscal. It's all different, so it's hard to. But the way I understand that as well, yes, her full 9,000 will be paid from the DOT grant, and the match will be made from the formula grant. We are applying for the DOT grant again for next year.
Good.
They encouraged us to do that. I've done training Nisha and I have done training on that. And when she gets back from vacation, we're going to go in and concentrate on filing the quarterly report, although the DOT said that that's not as urgent right now. Normally, that's due like the end of April, beginning of May, but she said it's not necessary because she said, we feel bad because we haven't given you the money yet, so we feel bad asking for your quarterly report on money you haven't received. But that's why we asked Maureen to gather some data, and we will hopefully, at least start doing that quarterly report. And then also, we're going to work on, we have everything we need to apply for the grant for next year.
Great.
So we'll work on that together. I certainly couldn't do it, without her. But there's because she's partially paid from it, she can't be solely responsible for doing that. So that is
That's at this
ongoing
point.
and,
This
right,
would not be starting in July.
right.
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 So,
So that's ongoing.
Wow, Barbara, thank you for all your time
Understanding it.
and knowledge and understanding and
Jump
effort
again,
to
yeah.
make
I
this,
think I understand it enough
to make this
explain it
happen.
correctly.
no,
I watched one of the trainings and knew
It's not for
that
me,
I
right?
was not completely understanding all of it and was very much hoping somebody else was.
Well, they're super helpful. They offer to
Good.
come out, phone calls anytime. There's more training available. I probably have 50 emails from her about
Wow.
various things, to
She's
help
been-
and
you've been
how-tos.
busy.
I mean, she even shows us how to go to here, click this, go here, click that. And I'm like, that's what I need. So,
Exactly. Oh, but thank you for all of your investment in this.
you're welcome.
you jumped the gun. That was on the agenda.
You can
No,
say it,
that's
too.
okay.
You can
No,
say it,
I was going to, no, because I know you and Nisha have spent a lot of time and, effort, and you understand it. I understand, if you write a check, it comes out, and then the money's
Yeah,
not there.
exactly.
And you make a deposit, the money's in there, and you can write a check. I don't understand any of this, how this can work if the money's not there yet. But it's governmental, they do it.
Yeah.
So that was, okay. So are there any other questions about the DOT grant? Because that was on the old business agenda, and I was going to give the assistant director's report. So should we do that next? The assistant director. So Nisha, before she left, sent me, a lot of the answers, a lot of the items on the agenda for old business are going to be answered in this report. So as we go down, we'll do that. The sides to the tent have been ordered, measured and ordered, the invoice has been sent. They are making the sides to, the dimensions that they need, and Ozark Canopy will be delivering the sides and assisting with the setup, and along with Larry and the crew. And thank you, Larry, if you're out there, and everyone who came to help set the tent up to begin with. We are not, the invoice has not been paid until we receive the sides, so that's, kind of out there. The next thing she has is the van, but we heard about that already. And this was actually before she got the phone call about, we can't do it. So, about the key cards, they're available in the office to any senior who uses the Groveland COA. Key card is considered a My Senior Center membership. So, if you haven't gotten your key card yet, please come to the office, not this week because Nisha's on vacation, but next week, and get a key card. And any activity you come to through the COA, you use your key card, enter it, and then that helps us with the numbers and the data that we need to collect to get our grants. The phone system has been updated, and it actually has a staff directory. They've added a general mailbox so that all staff members in COA will be able to have access. And the general voicemail is confidential and is not accessible to volunteers. So there's a specific mailbox for that. She talks about the Mass Dot meeting with Barbara, and what's the lady's name? I can't remember.
Rachel?
Rachel. Now the report, she said the first quarter reports are now due around the beginning of June. Reminds you the grant is a 50-50 match with the formula grant totaling $18,000. Barbara and I will be meeting on May 22nd, she says, to compile all the numbers for the report. So thank you, another meeting. The next on her list is about the EcoSmith recyclers, the bin, which we also have down here. I spoke to Nisha about that, and so the situation is the town has a different company for the recycling bins. They do give you a little bit more money per poundage or tonnage. I'm not sure if it's by pound or ton. According to Nisha, we get a quarterly check directly sent to the Council on Aging. However, it is a Friends, it's under the Friends. It's not under the COA. It's under the Friends. If you go on to our website, the town website, and you go under Friends, that's where all the information, come and recycle, help make, it's fundraising. So it has to come under the Friends. But rather than having the check go to the Friends and then they come and give it to, deposit it comes directly. They skip that middleman. So it is technically a Friends situation. Nisha said she really, they've been good. They're a small company. The people are so nice. This is what she says. She says personally she doesn't feel we should be changing. And she has questions about the newer company, like how that money would be given out, because it would be one big check to the town of Groveland, and how would they know? And I said, I believe they have determination, each bin would have, bin number 3 made
Weighed
so
so
many
much.
pounds, and
Okay.
then the check would be according to
Yeah,
that.
because this company has multiple bins for multiple things too, right? The company we currently use?
Right.
And that works, so I would
Right.
assume that's standard operating practice for
Yeah,
those.
but, I mean, that was
It's a
her
good question to
concern.
ask and make
So
sure.
I don't know where to go with that. We know the Friends have not been, they have enough problems to worry about this, so I don't know if we should just stay with,
Yeah, I mean, we can't, I don't think, since it's a Friends
right,
fundraiser, we can't make the decision.
that's,
So
Right.
Right.
it has to be the Friends, and if they choose not to change, then they choose not to change.
which is what we said in the very beginning.
Yeah.
But then it got well, it's not the Friends, and it is the Friends.
Yeah.
Because we cannot do fundraising.
Right.
So it just has to be through the Friends,
Right,
obviously.
so they have to make that decision.
And so right now, if Nisha recommends that we just stay with the process in place now because it's working well, I think that's.
Again,
The last check.
Again, it's
They're
the-
having a
It's
meeting.
there.
if the
And
Friends
it's the
has to make,
Friends.
the Friends has to
Yeah.
make, we can't
Yeah.
make the decision.
Right.
No,
We,
Right.
They're having a meeting June 1st that I
Right.
would be attending. I don't know if you want me to bring that up or,
Well, I think, yeah,
Or
most
what?
of us will be coming. The last check from EcoSmith was $180 for the quarter. So, $180 is $180.
and in
Now-
talking to Nisha, she said it was only like a 2-cent difference. It
Right,
wasn't a
per
big
pound.
amount of money we'd be losing.
Yeah. So
So-
it is what it is. And, yeah.
I
Okay.
think we should leave it the way it is.
So that
And
was
then I can
that,
bring it
and
up to
it's
the
Friends.
friends.
but again, we
Yeah.
can't
Yeah.
make, it doesn't
No.
matter what we think.
Okay. Right.
Because we can't make the decision, so it.
I'll bring it
we
up.
So
Don't
we
need to
can
talk
bring
about
it
it.
up to the Friends, but I don't think that right now is their major concern.
right, right.
But it's their call.
True.
Right.
They have a much more.
As far as staff, she has the outreach coordinator, states that it's 16 to 18 hours a week on the job posting. I also would like to meet with Rebecca later, or maybe it's with Ellen, I'm not quite sure. But now that it has passed, the override, and thus the money that would be going to the town, and increase in pay for July, where when we posted the director position, we put that new salary in there. It has not changed for the van driver or outreach worker, and I feel it should. That might attract more people.
Yep.
Now, Nisha put down here that she has her suggested hours for the outreach coordinator. Tuesdays from 9 to 1 or 10 to 2 for outreach and placing weekly order with Our Neighbors Table. Wednesdays and Thursdays, 9 to 4 for office visits, home visits, senior food pantry, and support groups. So that I don't know, like she's saying 2
Can
days.
Can I
3 days.
interject something?
Yes.
It's kind of, because it's related to this, and I don't want to forget. I think that it's very important that, and I know the Personnel Committee has their hands full right now with trying to fill jobs, but I think it's really important for the Personnel Committee to have a meeting with the 3 current employees, with Nisha, Frank, and Maureen all together. I think not having anyone in charge and not having a director is creating a lot of potential for miscommunication. And I think that really needs to happen, because what I'm seeing happening is, I think, again, because there is no director, different staff members will happen to see a board member and will discuss things. And then it could be entirely different from what another employee is discussing with another board member. And it's not a conducive
No.
working environment.
Thank you. Or it may be different stories to each. The same person could be telling 2 different
That
stories, one to
we have-
you and one to me, let's
Yes.
say. And I'm like, whoa, well, that's not what I heard.
Yes, the communication,
Yeah.
and I think that,
And
I think there needs to be, and I don't think it should be a full board meeting.
No,
I think it should just be
no.
the Personnel Committee with the 3 employees, all in the same room, to get some kind of understanding, because there just have been several incidences where that's happened. The other thing related to staffing that I would like to bring up is, sorry.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Do we need a motion and a vote for that to happen?
No,
No, it's a suggestion, and, I mean, that's a subcommittee. We meet, we know we have to meet. There's also, we have to come
Oh,
up with
we have several
several
items
items
about
on
which
it,
we
yes,
need to meet,
but-
but.
and I mean, I know you guys have your hands,
Okay, I
know
just
you have your
wondered if
hands
we
full.
needed to make a motion and vote on that, because I
Yeah.
support that idea.
Yeah,
Yeah, I just think it's causing
On my
some
list.
unnecessary
Yes.
snafus and
Yeah.
tensions. And the other thing I would like to recommend, it was great that Maureen was here today, but I think that going forward, until we have a director in place, I think the assistant director should be required to attend these meetings. Because we can get a written report, but then if there's a discussion and we have questions, Or if we have a meeting, we take a vote, and then after that vote, the assistant director may find things that we didn't realize and point things out. But by then, we've already had a meeting, we've made votes, and we're a month behind now. So I really think it would be extremely helpful if the assistant director was required to attend these meetings.
Okay. She's on vacation this week, but I agree. I was kind of surprised that she hasn't been.
I think we have to make
Ask
that
her-
happen.
make it
It's just a
happen.
lot easier to talk about things face to face.
Well,
Absolutely.
because
And to have
we
everything-
don't know everything. If
We
we did,
don't.
we'd be employed here.
Right, and we can make an
so there have been
assumption.
things that this is going to happen, oh, no, 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 no. Even was it the last meeting when we talked about the pantry hours and
Right.
everything? That was like, well, no, 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 it can't happen that way,
Yeah.
so, yeah.
Whereas if we had been here having a discussion, it could have all been ironed out.
She could have had her input on it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
And hopefully
Our-
it'll only be for, or the need for the assistant director to be at our meetings will only be one more time, and then we'll have a new director in place. Hopefully. We'll talk about that.
Yes.
And at this point, I just want to say our assistant director is a wealth of knowledge and history
She is.
about the Council on Aging. And I find myself so often saying, oh, I wish I'd known that information a week ago.
Right.
When we were meeting and we were
Right.
having a
Right, yeah,
discussion.
right.
And I didn't know.
Right.
Right.
Yes, so do we need to make a motion about this? Vote
I mean,
or not?
you don't think so?
I would say, I don't think so. And I
Okay.
mean, the only thing is that, I don't know if it falls, I need to see
The job- the
job,
position
the newest
description.
job description, because I thought, and I may be wrong, that in the absence of a director, the assistant director would take on some of the responsibilities. Not all, but enough of the responsibilities. So this would be one, but I don't know, job description, if, if it qualifies, or,
There could be something at the end of the job description, there usually is on most of them, I don't know about these, but that says, and
Other duties as assigned.
as assigned.
required
And
or
that's what I
assigned when
think is
necessary.
there, but I do not have
Yeah.
the one that they,
No, I don't have it either.
we were never given the most updated job descriptions for assistant director, even for director. I don't know if that's the updated one from the Collins Center. So back, I think it was last summer, Collins Center sent all job descriptions out based on, what positions we had in this town. From my understanding, each department looked through these suggested job descriptions and tweaked them. Because I know Nisha had said Lynn was here at the time, and there was some tweaking that was done. So
I'm sure they're available somewhere. We just have
I
to
just don't know
get
where.
them.
I've been looking online, yeah. And I don't even know if Nisha has the most updated one. So that is something going forward, I think, if need be for next meeting, the assistant director would need to come here and give the report and stay around for some questions. Because again, like you're absolutely right. I mean, we're running by the seat of our pants here. It's like, well, yeah, this is how it can be done. We could take a vote, and it's like, no, it can't be done. Because my senior center says we have to do it this, or whatever, so, okay.
Getting back, what you were talking about before we went on that subject was Nisha's request for certain hours.
Yes.
When expanding on that a little bit, the last time that she and I talked before she went on vacation, we were talking about how strongly she feels about the outreach coordinator positions, qualifications, needs, and so forth. She said she was going to put some of it in her report, which she did, but I took some notes, and I can expand a little bit on why she feels as strongly as she does and her reasons why. I'll just read off of here. The outreach coordinator position is a lot of social work, that it's not just the food pantry. That's a big part of it, but it's not the only thing. A lot of programs, she said, used to be done on Tuesdays, and a lot of other towns do them on Tuesdays. So if we do a program on Thursday, it's better attended because other people are attending other programs in other towns on Tuesdays. So she feels that when we have a Tuesday program, it's not as well attended because people are going to other towns for their
Yeah,
programs.
that's not about outreach.
No, that's
right.
not about outreach. She feels that Wednesday and Thursday, that's why she wants the person to work, what'd she say, 9 to 4 on Wednesdays and Thursdays? Because number one, they're food pantry days, and when people come in, they can also be asked, do you need other services? Do you need help with heat? Do you need help with other groups that used to be part of the, used to be offered before COVID, and hopefully will be starting up again, such as a caregiver support group, an Alzheimer's support group, used to be on Thursdays, a grief support group, which is co-run with AgeSpan, elder mental health outreach team, where Groveland is a part of that with Amesbury, Salisbury, Newburyport. And that is something that has kind of dropped as well since COVID.
Since COVID,
And
right.
hopefully help again. And this is all something that an outreach coordinator could help with if they have like a social worker background, which she feels is important. And she feels that the longer days are more beneficial than four-hour days, because they can spend, for example, on food pantry days, they wouldn't necessarily have to be in there all the time because volunteers are in there as well, and they could take a person aside who comes in and says, gee, I want to talk about this, take them aside and then talk about that issue that they might have while they're right here. So those are her feelings on the outreach coordinator and the hours that she was talking about.
Right.
Okay, again, I think the job description for the outreach worker needs to have those qualifications in it, if that is, and I don't know if it does.
Well, that's what I mentioned to her. I said, remember that we have to go by the job description.
And if the job description doesn't
Do we have
say,
the job description?
No,
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I'm
and,
looking up now if I can get online.
and the other
So
thing
when you're
is,
looking-
if we are close to having a new director, I think the new director should make the decisions on whatever hours that person's staff.
Certainly have
Works.
input on it,
Yeah.
yeah. And the hours can always, be changed. I mean, if you hire someone for a certain number of hours a week and certain days a week, then you can't go to them after 2 months
Right.
and say, oh, by the way, we're totally changing your
Exactly.
hours.
Right.
So we have to take that into
Yeah,
consideration
so I think
as
that,
well.
if we're close to having a new director, which would be wonderful, then, rather than changing things before a new director gets here.
Right, and, well, I think she thinks, was stating that as we interview for
Yeah.
the position.
Yeah,
So, and I'm not getting internet here, so I can't, if you look on the town website and look under job opportunities, there's a listing of what the outreach worker does. That's not a job description, and then you can click on, and the job description is there further.
Yeah. So,
And I think, I see where she's coming from, but a lot of these things had stopped because of COVID.
Right.
They have to be restarted, and you can't restart something with a very part-time interim director.
Right.
Interim
Right.
outreach worker, I'm sorry. So I see, she has valid, points here, but I think nothing's going to happen until a director and an
Everybody's
outreach
hired.
worker
Right.
are hired.
well, hopefully the new salaries will attract.
Right, well, and that should be put down, yes. As far as the van driver, Frank's going to be taking some upcoming vacation time. It's 2 weeks in August and a week in September. Usually, the substitute van driver would fill in. We don't have that. We don't have, and she's very concerned. She gave me a list of people to reach out to, none of whom I have heard back from. The sub-driver is currently at the maximum weekly hours, which is Maureen. And so even if it was 19 hours, just as a van driver, to do a whole, his 19 and and the van driver does 19, that's 38. Before she was the substitute van driver, I think now she is the Monday, Tuesday van driver. and substitute, but she can't go over 19 hours. So she had suggested, Nisha said that they've had 3 former letter carriers work as drivers, and it's worked out well. I had the name of one, left 2 messages on the phone, haven't heard back. Called the post office to see, and they said, well, the person in charge of that is on vacation. Could you call back next week? So I said, I'm not looking for a job. I'm looking to see if anyone here is retiring or has retired, and maybe it's because it's such a part-time job. And she suggested calling the MVRTA. I'm thinking if it's just an interim van driver for the summer, if that's what is needed, until we get everybody in place. Maybe a school bus driver. They have the summers off. They may want to, but you can't bring a child on the bus. So if it's a person with young children, it wouldn't work. I put it up. I put it up on the town crier, just like maybe there's someone out there that doesn't know. To go to the town website looking for a job is not how we're going to get the van driver.
No. But I do think that they do have to do some special training,
Yes.
the van driver. So even if it was a bus driver, they would still have to go to the wheelchair training, I believe.
Well, that would be express interest, and then, yeah.
Do we know if Frank is qualified to be able to do that training and have it matter?
No,
And have
Frank
it-
can't do it. You have to go, there's a special spot you go to
Okay.
when they do training, yeah.
Yeah, because Dave did it.
Dave had to do it, yeah.
Right.
Ah,
Who is not interested in coming back as the substitute.
Okay, you just wanted to make that clear.
thank you.
No, I just don't know,
Open that up.
So, that's still up, that's another issue that's coming up. Upcoming programming, the Older Americans Day, please tell your friends to come. It's going to be a really fun day. It's at 11 o'clock. We have the lunch done by Panera Bread, and at 12:30, Ruth Harkovitz is going to do the songs and stories from The Sound of Music, and we thank the Cultural Arts Council for supporting us by providing that performance. Call the COA and tell them you'd like to come. Tickets are $8. Yes.
May
Irene.
23rd is a Tuesday, right?
Yes, and that's why that mention of the Tuesday, other plans that, so, yeah, I heard the same thing with Nisha, that it was originally planned for Thursday. They changed it to Tuesday. Sean changed it to Tuesday because he wanted it to be a time to welcome Maureen onto the COA board, and Maureen only works Mondays and Tuesdays. It's set in stone now that it's Tuesday, and many of the regulars who come to our meals are going to, on Tuesdays, they go over to, I believe it's the Boxford COA, that they have some special luncheons going on. And that's why she was mentioning Thursdays work the best.
Do we know the location for the lunch?
Yes, it's going to be inside.
Everything will be inside?
Everything will be inside.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. I checked with that, and they're not, the tent just will not be.
Correct. Okay.
On Thursday, June 22nd, is the ice cream social at 1 PM. I believe that will be out under the tent, weather permitting. And the movies, exercise classes, the trips, game day, and traveling chef will continue programming. Check your newsletter that were emailed to you, or you can pick them up at various locations in town, here at the COA office, or even out in the lobby, the library. I think Jerry's has it, the coffee place down the street,
Ultimate perk?
Ultimate Perk, yeah, many locations. If you did not receive an email copy or want a paper copy, which looks like
Good
this.
question on that. How many were sent out last month?
Probably 20 to 30 people who have paid for the postage.
That's all that was sent out?
That's correct.
Okay.
Because I understand we don't have the funding to pay for the postage for, how many of them? 1,400?
1,400.
There were-
We don't have the postage.
And nobody was told, well, only because at the Friends meeting,
I
it was
know.
brought up that they were upset that they did not receive their letter.
I
And I
know.
wasn't quite sure of how it was handled last month. I didn't
For
realize
the
how many.
last May, June one, it was not mailed out because there was no funding in that line.
And we
Okay.
were going to ask the Friends to put money in that line
Right.
item, and they canceled, was it 2 meetings or 3 meetings in a row?
Right.
So,
Okay.
and, yeah. So, and apparently, in the past 2 years, what Nisha has said, there have only been 2 or 3 newsletters that have been mailed. That we've done more emailing at other times, and because like during the real COVID times, they couldn't have the people here to collate them and send them. So I'm not sure, I don't remember myself.
Do you
Very,
feel this is going to be ongoing? That's the way it's going to be done?
I think it depends on, well, the COVID restrictions have been lifted.
Right.
So there's the possibility of having the people, volunteers come in and collate, which ends up being kind of a social activity, as well as accomplishing the task. But it's costly.
Right.
It's costly to mail 1,400.
costly.
And we actually have some people who have said, oh, yes, I want to be on the email list, and then they've come back and said, oh, but I want a paper copy too, mailed. And so,
Right, and we've discussed this before,
We
you know,
have
maybe it,
discussed it,
you know, if you want it mailed to your home, then, you know,
it costs.
it costs. Postage is.
Well, that's what my other thing was. The out-of-towners that pay so much a year, if the people in town want them, then they have to pay that much a year.
Yeah,
That's the only other
Exactly.
alternative we would have.
yes.
Okay.
So
that could
again,
be-
this would
that could be
be
brought up.
something to bring up at the Friends meeting again, like if
Right.
they want to pay the postage every time it's
Yeah.
sent, but, you know, we don't have the funding for that, and it.
No.
And we discussed it, I think it was last meeting, or maybe the meeting before, that we send out 1,400 papers, and City of Haverhill sends out half of that, or was it 1/3 of it?
Yeah, it
Very,
was a third, yeah, it was
a
a very
third
little
of the
bit.
number. And people there in Haverhill know to pick it up at the center, at the stores, at the whatever, if they want it, or they get it emailed to them.
I think if it's ongoing, they'll end up
People
going
will-
to the places and
Right.
and receiving it that way if they want
The,
it.
the advantage, I think, to getting it mailed, if you don't have internet access, is it reminds you, oh, COA, let's see what they have going on.
Right.
You don't think when you're going to the library to get a book, or if you're a shut-in, and you don't have email,
Exactly.
Exactly.
then how do you get?
I know.
And
And
that's
I-
a
Get
big-
the
I
information
do feel
out
bad that
there.
we have a population that is, you
Is
know, they
missing
don't
out.
all have email. And
No, they
we're,
don't.
we've kind of, and not all of them can get out and go to Ultimate Perk or come down to Town Hall.
Correct. Yeah.
And I just feel like we're disenfranchising some of the
Although-
people that need it the most.
Right.
Yeah, that's
We
what I was
are
wondering.
putting
how
them
it's-
in physical, in like any deliveries we do, correct? Food deliveries, but there are people that aren't even doing, taking
Well, that's
advantage of the
exactly.
food, right?
Right.
I agree. I think that there is a definite need to mail them out.
Yeah,
And
some- or
other,
get 'em
other
out.
cities and towns, you know, they charge like $8 a month.
Right.
No,
No,
$8 a year. Or $8 a year to receive the newsletter in the mail. And I think that's something we should definitely offer, because like you said, not everybody has
Right.
internet access, not everybody can get out to
Friends
one of the
members.
places we're
Friends,
talking.
yes.
And we do miss, they do
Yeah.
miss out.
Again, this is, we're not the Friends, but
Right.
Irene and I both just had the same idea, that they were talking before about getting more people to be Friends members.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they could say that with your Friends membership, you'll get your newsletter mailed. And that could be the
And
little
make
perk.
Friends membership be
A little-
$15
more-
or
right,
something.
Yeah, or even
more.
if it was 10, even if they get more people.
Oh.
Like now, if they're only getting 31 people to do $10, if they get 150 people to do $10.
This is definitely-
And that covers,
yes.
they're
Covers
still
the
going to end up.
postage, Right.
Something to consider, yeah.
Again, it's for them
Yeah.
to just consider, but it might be, they were talking a little bit about how do we get a little,
Right.
how do we encourage more people if there's a perk?
It is a perk.
Good point.
Yes, yes, yeah, I
Okay.
like that.
So that was, the next thing on the agenda was the Friends of the Groveland COA update. Meeting was on last Friday. The positions that are opened are the president and the vice president, or chair and,
vice chair.
do they call
That's-
chair and vice
In the
chair?
bylaws, it's chair and vice chair.
Chair, right. That's not what they were calling it, though.
I know, and
And
that's where the confusion.
That's where the confusion. Rita Murray did step up and say she would be the assistant treasurer because they did not have one. Their next meeting is June 1st, which is a Thursday at 3 PM here in Town Hall. We were discussing the need for more membership, more active membership, people who would be active, ideas for fundraising. So if you're listening out there, please join the Friends. There's applications online, there's applications here at the COA office and in the lobby. And
That day and
or just come that day and find out more about what it is. I know lots of people don't like to volunteer, but if you could even volunteer to say, I will help out with A, and somebody else says, and I'll help out with B, that's what we need. We don't need,
full-timers,
full-time, I mean, we do need full-timers. If
But
you want to be a
not-
full-timer, that's good, but,
not for
right.
everything.
And it doesn't say in the bylaws, I noticed that the chair position has to be one person. And where it may be that new people can get involved, I am wondering if there could be, say, two people who take on the chairperson role, sort of as co-chair people, to lean on each other, share the responsibilities, and sort of be critical friends for each other about ideas and moving forward. So I really hope that some people will step forward and come in to the meeting on June 1st so that, the next generation of leaders can contribute in this way.
Right, and it's really, if you look at the bylaws, it says chairperson, and I agree, be co-leaders, co-chair. It basically says the chairperson presides at the meetings, is an ex officio or non-voting member of all the committees, and the chair, so they preside, meaning they're running the meeting, and along with the treasurer, signs all contracts and any other legal documents of the organization. So it's not saying the chair has to come up with all the ideas.
No.
Just like, I'm the chair here. Thank you all. I couldn't do this alone. I mean, everything that, every one of you, what you've done, and Larry and Marie, who aren't here today. So being the chair, it means just running the meeting, really.
These are all great things to be discussed at the
At
next
the
Friends
meeting.
meeting, which is June 1st at 3 PM, is that
Yep,
right?
yep.
Yes.
Here.
That is correct, Barbara. And I think.
Right here,
Right
right?
right here.
Three o'clock.
And I'm
see you
thinking
there.
that, we always say it takes a village in terms of raising a child, but it takes a village in terms of supporting our seniors who are, 30% of our population in Groveland, something like that?
They're
So
a
it takes a
percentage.
village. Please come and join the village.
And people can be involved either as an active member who goes to meetings every month and participates in events, or you can be a supporting member.
Right.
Who pays $10 annual dues once a year, that's all you do. That is instrumental, that's crucial to the operating of the
The
Friends.
fundraising,
But if you are not interested in being an active member, we certainly can be a supporting member, which would be just as welcome.
Okay, we did our little advertising. We should have come up with a song.
PSAs.
Okay. Next on the agenda, we have the open position updates. As of now, there are 3 applicants for the director position. Barbara, do you want to address that? I had Larry, and Larry sent here, yeah.
Larry is the chair of the search committee, and then other members of the search committee are myself, Barbara Sanborn, Marie Waller, Beth Cuniff, our town clerk, and Susan Wilcox. Hancock's, I'm sorry, from Nichols Village. So we do have 3 applicants. We've reviewed all the resumes, and we've all decided to move all 3 candidates forward to interviews. We've set aside interview dates, hopefully for Thursday, May 25th, or Tuesday, May 30th. In Larry's absence, he is away on vacation. He has asked me to contact the candidates to set up interviews. I'll be doing that today and tomorrow, and then we'll let everyone know when we're going to interview. So we will be interviewing within the next week to week and a half. The 3 applicants they're good, they're strong-looking, so we're very excited and hopeful about that. And depending on whether or not, someone has to give notice to a position, we hope to have someone at least on paper hired and hopefully in place by the end of June. That's our hope. We'll see what happens. And we also, you'll bring that up about the applicant for the outreach coordinator.
We also have received an application for the outreach position, which looks very promising. And that will be something that the Personnel Committee, well, there's a question. I don't know if it should go to the Search Committee. In the past, it would be, if we had a director in place, the director would be the person who would be hiring. So when Maureen was hired as the interim, we were at the same situation we are now, so the Personnel Committee interviewed. So it was Larry, Irene, and I interviewed. So that, I think, could be a vote of the board, although we didn't say, oh, no, you have votes may be taken. If we should do it as a board, we should give it to the interview opportunity to the search committee, because it could be given to you guys too, or the personnel. Or do we just wait until a director is, I don't think that would be fair, like we get a new director and say, now you have to hire this outreach, and not only that, is that person who has applied,
Right.
Yeah.
do they wish to
Right.
wait that long?
Right, they may not.
They may not want to wait that long.
On that
To move,
piece,
right.
because we do have,
And there may
qualified
be a
candidate.
second person too coming forward for that position.
Yeah.
So, I don't know the right answer, because you need to know that, we need to understand if the job description as it's written today is accurate. If it addresses all of the qualification concerns that
Well, this is
Barbara
what's been
reported.
advertised. This is-
Right.
This is
It's-
what's,
right.
so whoever's
But we-
applying for the
I know, so
position-
we've got to, we need to get a handle on that, I think, before, or someone needs to get a handle on that before the interviews are done. And also, I'm not sure if we don't know, if we don't have a decision on what hours that person
Going
is
through-
actually going to be working.
And where does that decision come from?
Well, if we had a director, then the decision would come from there. But again, do we want to wait another 6 weeks and possibly lose candidates? I mean, I suppose it would not be inappropriate to reach out to the applicants and just say, we're in the process of hiring a new director, what is your time for, I don't
Do you have to
know.
have specific hours you give them? I mean, are they open to
Well, that would
We would
depend,
have to.
non-specific hours?
Because it is a
Or do you
part-time
have to
job,
do-
so that person may have a second part-time job.
Right,
Yeah,
so you need to give specifics.
yeah.
Okay, you want me to
Yes.
read? This is not the
Okay.
job description, but this is what these people would be applying for. This
Okay.
is the ad. Town of Groveland is seeking a qualified part-time, 10 to 18 hours a week, Council on Aging outreach worker. Responsibilities include but are not limited to planning, coordinating, and provision of social and home services to elders in need or at risk and their families, both within and outside the environs of the Groveland Council on Aging. Applicants should have excellent interpersonal skills, and enjoy working with the public. Ability to exercise judgment, discretion, and tact is essential. Must be Corey screened and approved. Associate's degree and/or 3 years' experience in human service, social work, or other related field is required, as is knowledge of elder programs and services in the Merrimack Valley area, and ability to work collaboratively with other departments, agencies. Assessment, time management, and record-keeping skills a must. Proficiency with MS Office software and be familiar
Familiarity?
with my, thank you, with my senior center a plus. Doesn't mean you have to have it. And then they have the wrong hourly rate. It's not eligible, benefit eligible. Resumes will be interviewed as received. Position open until filled, and then they send the resume to Rebecca, and then it's shot forward to us.
May I ask, I couldn't hear what you said
Oh.
about the hours? How many hours?
10 to 18,
10?
but we have it down that we want 16 to 18, and 10 would not, I don't know why they put 10. 10 wouldn't do much.
No, 10.
No, 10's,
10's
too
inadequate.
small.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So that would be something,
Okay.
okay. So that's what it says, and that's what these people will come forward looking, well, I came and this is what it was. And it's pretty general, so I think
but
some of
there are
those
some things in there. There are some, like,
Right,
3 years
in
of
the-
related experience
Right,
with some,
right. and-
or
and
knowledge in human services. So there, at least there is
Yeah,
something in there.
there's something in there.
Right,
I would personally would recommend that the Personnel Subcommittee take over the interviewing and process for the outreach coordinator, simply because the search committee will be busy in the next
Right.
few weeks with the director's search, and I
Definitely.
don't think we should wait on the outreach. I think we should at least reach out and move forward so that we don't lose the good applicant that we have.
I agree.
So that would be my take on it.
Is that your motion? Do you want to make a motion?
If a motion needs to be made,
Because we
I
want to
think,
vote,
I think we
right?
should vote on
Yeah.
this, just because, to make it official,
Right.
that this
Okay.
is how we're doing it,
All right.
and nobody will, the board
Okay.
voted it's happening this way.
Right.
I'll second
All right.
Barbara's motion.
Okay,
So the motion being that the Personnel
Personnel.
Subcommittee move forward with the search for filling the outreach coordinator position.
okay?
Is somebody,
All, we have a first and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. So that brings us to our next item, which is the Personnel Committee report. The Personnel Committee has not met. We're supposed to be coming up with a performance evaluation. I sent Larry and Irene copies of the format that the town is working on for their position performance evaluation. And I think we need to, if we make one.
As a member of that committee, I would like to put this item on hold or table it, or whatever is the right way to say it, for the next meeting. We need some time to
Well, yeah.
research, meet, discuss.
And at this point, as far as performance evaluation, we would be only, as a personnel committee, only doing an evaluation of the director.
Exactly.
So there is no director in place, and the way this came about, that yes, put it on the agenda, we need to start working, was when we had Sean. He was very concerned in 6 months, or 3 months it was,
Yes.
he wanted to make sure, who's going to evaluate me, how's it going to be done? We have no director, so we have at least 3 months after a director is hired to, come up with some kind of performance tool. So I think that can wait.
Right.
And then as far as the other positions, assistant director and outreach and van driver, that is something that the director does. That is not, so I don't, I had conversations with Sean. Did he want to come up with a tool to evaluate the people in his department, or did he want the personnel committee to do that? And, then it was kind of a moot point. So I think Where we don't have any, the only one that really would need to be evaluated at this point, you know, okay, Maureen is in a 3-month probationary period. I suppose we could, ask Nisha to evaluate her, but that's not her position.
that's not
That's not her
appropriate.
responsibility.
You could ask,
And
I don't think
Nisha,
that's appropriate.
that's
it's
not
our
appropriate. You could ask her for input.
Right.
Right.
And it's not our responsibility, really, to be evaluating
I know.
Nisha.
But
So
people-
it's kind of a moot point.
Yeah, I know, but people need feedback. So let's hope
And according
that
to our,
we get it, we
yeah,
have a director and that we can, but if it,
Follow through on that
Yeah.
situation.
and according to our town bylaws, these evaluations should be happening by like in December. It says in December,
right.
and we did not do it in December. And I was kind of worried about that, like, are we going to be in trouble that we didn't evaluate Nisha? But it was like, it's not our job to do that, but we're the only people. So, yeah. And as far as, filling the outreach, we will do that where it's just voted, as far as the personnel, and go from there. And I think we also need to find the actual job descriptions that the people in this department are working under. So, okay. We've had the tent update, the van repairs. Anything more you want to do on the pantry food
Yes.
services? Okay,
Actually, I
Deb?
do had some other, so I just want to clarify something and make sure that it's documented. If you'll remember, back in, I guess, December, we took a vote that said that I would be in possession of a key to the pantry. Okay, that was voted. I was given the key directly by Rebecca. I have the key. Okay? We've got multiple dates with Nisha's vacation. So this week, Nisha's on vacation all week, I believe. So I'm here today to open the pantry for the noontime shift. Tomorrow morning, I've signed up for the morning shift.
Okay.
So we'll be covered for this week. Then I believe the next time, it's June 5th through 9th. I will not be here, so I'm going to need to hand the key off to someone.
Could they go
Pardon?
instead to Rebecca?
Well, they could, but the problem is that if by any
Or
chance
Steve.
Rebecca isn't here that day,
Or
if
in a
she gets
meeting.
vacation, if she's in a meeting, Steve has a key, but if Steve, like the
Steve's
very
not
first time, that's one of the reasons we got the key originally, was because I came down,
Couldn't find
Steve was
Steve.
over in the fire department, in the basement somewhere. He never, his texts weren't working, and I sat for 45 minutes, but not his fault, he didn't know.
Right.
Rebecca was
okay.
in budget meetings behind closed doors, so that's why we have the key.
Okay.
There is if we had a director and we were fully staffed, we wouldn't need the key.
Right,
But
okay.
I'm fine with handing it off to Linda for those days that I'm gone. I mean, she's close by, she's
Right.
She's a
I said I
fellow
live
board
right
member.
across the
she's a
street,
board
so-
member.
I think it should be a board member and
Yes,
not,
right,
Yeah, you
exactly.
don't wanna go
That was my
anybody.
thought.
Right.
So I would like that to be voted, and then June 26th to 30th, well, we can see, we can get to that later, but, so for the June 5th through that next
Beginning of
vacation,
June.
I would make a motion that the board authorizes me to hand over the pantry key, which I was duly given by the town administrator, to Linda Brown to cover the pantry opening.
I second the motion.
I accept.
All in favor?
I accept.
Oh, will you accept it, Linda?
accept the key.
So being the secondary
All right.
responsible for the key. And all in favor? Yes, everyone?
Aye.
Okay. So you'll take care of that?
I will take
That does
care of
make
getting that
sense.
to Linda.
Yeah, I mean, even today, to get into the office, Maureen doesn't have a key,
She only has a key to the pantry, right?
right?
Yeah, I
They
know.
haven't given her a key, and Frank has it. Frank's not here.
Right,
He's,
I know. Which means also that if anyone's supposed to be signing into my senior center, no one can sign
none
into
of
my
us can
senior center.
today. Yeah, here we are, the board member, so, yeah.
Yeah.
We can, I did get, I had found Rebecca, and she opened up, and she was like a
Right,
box,
and she's
she
fine.
came and did it, but
And
that's
Steve and-
not what she should be,
Steve and Rebecca are more than willing to do that, but,
if you can find them, and they're not
They have
busy. And
other
when I first came, she was on the phone.
responsibilities.
right,
I wasn't going to interrupt her to
I
come.
know,
knew
and
Katie
and they
get
have
in.
other responsibilities.
Right,
And
right. More
again,
important
it's just a
about
key to
getting-
the, it is only a key to the pantry.
Right, right. So, no, that makes sense. Anything else about pantry or food services updates? No. We talked about the textile bin. Oh, the Groveland Municipal Stakeholder Committee, I know some people were interested. Their next meeting is June 8th at 1 PM.
I will not be here.
So just letting you know. They have had a meeting that I was unaware of, so I apologize. It went to my junk mail. And I decided to change out my junk mail. I was like, what's this? I mean, I'll get rid of it. You know what you get in your junk
Right.
mail. And
Junk.
among all that stuff,
Where is that meeting going to be on June
Here.
8th? Here?
I don't know what room, but
What's the-
here at Town Hall.
Thursday, June 8th.
Yeah, but what's the-
I can't.
It's the Groveland
Communities,
Municipal stakeholder
Municipal
meeting.
Stakeholder.
so pretty much it's kind of, I want to say like town planning. So the reason the COA was asked to be involved at some point, or, in some way, was future planning for Groveland. What do the seniors need? The housing, transportation.
Senior Center.
Senior center, yeah, whatever. So that everyone is, what is our stakehold?
Right.
In, for the committee,
No,
our
that's,
community.
that's too bad, but I will be on a plane, so I will not be able to be.
I'm sure, where are you going? Somewhere fun?
We're going to England and Scotland.
Sounds like
Oh, well, you have to stay for this meeting.
No,
Yeah.
they'll be coming back that day, sorry.
I sent you all I went through all the old minutes, found out our terms. We are all eligible to renew, and I think those of you who just joined the meeting, the board, I hope you understood what I was saying. If you have filled a position, that doesn't count as 3 years. So you could be on for like 8 years, or like I was.
8 years, 8 years and 11 months?
Exactly. So, and the terms expire in June. So we are all set for a while.
Yes, and I put this on the agenda just to say thank you for doing that research and publishing it for us.
Yeah, I still have that email, so I'm going to keep it, and we can, keep that. So next year at this time, or whenever, we need to do that. And speaking of board member terms, according to our bylaws, we will need to have a vote at our next meeting. We typically have a June meeting. And to reconfigure the board. So if any of you want to take a different position or want a position, I know that there has been someone who has volunteered
Yeah,
by
'cause you gave me
pleading
that look.
to be
Yeah,
the
that
chair, but if anyone else, so Barbara has very nicely said that she would be a chair for the board,
Whoa, Barbara.
starting in July. So, because it is good to mix, especially the chair, vice chair. I think it's a good thing to have different people doing it. Secretary, if if anyone else wants secretary, or if Irene doesn't want it to continue, think about these things. Treasurer, where in this case, on this board, the treasurer does not handle anything financial. She's not writing checks or anything like that. Does not need to be a bonded position, like the library has to be. But, she is the one that can sign checks, but we have other people that can sign off on those checks too. So, unless Marie doesn't want it anymore, if one of you is really interested in being the treasurer. So there will be positions, we could keep the same. It doesn't say anything that you cannot be, as far as, I'm pretty sure, it doesn't say that you cannot hold a position for more than 2 years.
You're still going to be on the board, though.
Oh, yes. Oh, no, I'm hoping everyone will still be on the board. I hope no one's leaving. Because that's what I said, we're all good for a lot of years here.
I think we're all in this together.
I know, we're, yeah.
I do too. And again, I thank you.
We're committed.
And, the other thing I want to bring up, I see next scheduled meeting. We do have one typically in
Okay,
June.
June 21st.
June 21st. And
Oh, June 21st?
June 21st is the
Typically-
third Wednesday.
typically, in the past, the COA board has not met during the summer. However, my personal feeling is that we need to continue meeting.
I agree.
Strongly agree.
Yes.
I
This
agree.
is not a situation where we're just rubber stamping and saying, yep, sounds great, director, and we go off
Much
on our
going on.
vacations.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Strongly.
So if you're interested, the third Wednesday turns out to be June 21st, July 19th, and August 16th.
Well, let's see.
June 21, July 19, August 16.
And, if you have vacations planned, don't, but I feel if the board meets, if you can't attend a meeting and you have anything that you want to address, we are in touch with each other, email, call, whatever. But I really do feel we need to meet, in days before, we didn't meet until September again, but, okay.
Agree.
So we all agree? Do we have to make a motion for that? I don't think
I
so.
I don't think so.
Think so?
No.
Okay. Anything else under other? No? I want to thank all of you for the jobs you're doing. Thank you, Irene, for your very detailed minutes, because looking back on it, it's like, oh, that's what we talked about last year. Now, what do we, that's why they need to be detailed, and yours too, for the Friends meeting.
Yes, thank
They were
you.
very detailed, and I appreciate that. So if there is no other business, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Second? All in favor? Good. See you in June. Well, see you
See you
then.
before then.